It's 19 hours GMT. This is News 360. It comes to you live from the News Hub here at Adisowe Kanda. I'm Natalie Ford.
I am Alfred Okanse. Coming up in the bulletin tonight.
News 360 Headlines is brought to you by Deluxe Paid,
GT Bank,
and Calipo. Second suspect in the Adams Mahama murder arrested.
Electoral Commission to embark on reforms to reduce cost of elections in the country.
Four persons who subjected 3 senior high school students to eat raw chicken at Akumadan to be charged with assault.
And in business tonight, Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana reduces policy rate by 100 basis points from 17% to 16%.
And on the foreign front tonight, US and Taliban negotiators agree on a draft framework for a peace deal seeking to put an end to the 17-year conflict in Afghanistan. Stay with us here on News 360 for the details of these stories and much more news. As always, you could watch our bulletin on 3news.com, TV3 Ghana on Facebook, and DSTV channel 279. Here's where we get started this evening. Remember to share with us your thoughts and comments on our bulletin on our social media pages. Now, starting off tonight in the bulletin, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Jean Mensah, says the electoral management body will embark on reforms to reduce the cost of elections in the country. At the 17th International Electoral Affairs Symposium in Accra, she observed relying on development partners to fund elections compromises the independence of the Electoral Commission. Here's reports by Godfred Tanam.
Ghana is hosting more than 100 election stakeholders from around the world at this 17th International Electoral Affairs Symposium and International Electoral Awards in Accra. The event, which is from January 28 to 29, is the first of its kind in the sub-region, organized by the International Center for Parliamentary Studies based in London in collaboration with the Electoral Commission of Ghana and the Center for Democratic Development (CDD). The event is aimed at bringing together election practitioners, political parties, civil society actors, the academia and other key actors. Head of Electoral Commission of Ghana, Jean Mensah, said election is becoming a very expensive venture and the election body is susceptible to influence due to its sources of funding.
Our elections are fast becoming very expensive ventures, and we constantly rely on our development partners to partly fund our elections, thereby compromising our independence. For example, in 2016, the cost of elections in Ghana was $12, a little over $12 per voter, compared to $9 per voter in Nigeria in 2015 and $5 per voter in Tanzania in 2015.
This means a little over 129,379 cedis was spent on the over 10 million voters in the 2016 election under the then prevailing interest rate of 4.22. The Speaker of Ghana's Parliament, Professor Michael Quay, stressed on the need for the introduction of stringent measures to punish election offenders, citing Kenya as an example.
The Election Offences Act in Kenya is a very useful guide which should help us all draft and pass a suitable law within a couple of months, which we, all lovers of truth, should support.
Chairman of the International Center for Parliamentary Studies, Matt Cockhole, said electoral bodies define democracies and the focus of every election should be the electorate, who are the most important stakeholders.
When we create an environment like this, everyone being equal, everyone, whether it is the provider or it is the academics, the media, or the electoral management bodies, we are all in the same room. We all contribute in the discussion, and we all make sure that our common goal is reached, which is serving the electorate.
The two-day symposium is that building innovative strategies for better electoral systems globally.
The President's State of the Nation address will be one of the major items on the list when Parliament resumes. The House reconvenes tomorrow, January 29, to begin the first meeting of the third session of the 7th Parliament of the Fourth Republic.
Members of Parliament went for a break on December 22, 2018. A total of 30 bills are to be presented in this first meeting of the third session. Aside 15 bills, which are currently at the committee's level, some other new bills, including Aging Bill, Sugar Bill, Social Protection Bill, Creative Arts, Occupation, Safety and Health bills, Disability and Affirmative Action bills are to be presented. The Right to Information Bill is at the consideration stage. Some committees' reports are expected to be presented to the plenary.
All attention was on getting the budget done and then, passing the appropriation bill so that the wheels of government can run in 2019. So with that done, any other outstanding matter that needed looking at, which wasn't looked at in the previous meeting, obviously will be looked at in this particular meeting.
25 instruments as well as 41 papers are to be laid and worked on during this meeting. 19 of the Speaker's directives are pending. The Acting Director of Public Affairs said Parliament would in this meeting engage the media more.
It's the misrepresentations and the misconceptions that, Parliament surface. And this comes from the fact that Parliament practices what's called a hybrid system. So sometimes people expect members of Parliament to perform executive roles. And we in Parliament have not taken the time until now to explain to people the need to disaggregate the two activities. So now that's what we are doing. We are explaining to people the role of Parliament as it should be and what people should not expect of members of Parliament. So yes, once in a while, a member of Parliament may decide to pay a constituents' ward's fees. But is that what his primary role should be? These are some of the things that we're going to be looking at.
The President's State of the Nation address is also expected in February.
Let's turn to some other stories this evening. As mining in Ghana's forest reserves has been fiercely resisted by civil society groups and others with interest in forest protection. Minister of Lands and Natural Resources Kweku Asomah-Treme, however, says mining in forest reserves cannot be illegal if a company has legal documents from relevant institutions.
Parliament is expected to ratify and give approval to mining agreements before the holder of the mining agreement can carry out any mining activity. Member of Parliament for Tamale North, Al-Hassan, and his colleague MP for Sherman, Ernest Henry Nogbe, sued 35 mining companies, the Attorney General and the Minerals Commission for violating the country's constitution by operating without parliamentary ratification of their leases. In the December 24 suit filed at the Supreme Court, the plaintiffs argued that the companies have violated Article 268 of the 1992 Constitution by carrying out mining activities at a time when Parliament had not ratified their mining leases. They further argued that unless Parliament ratifies or gives approval to a mining agreement, the holder of the mining agreement cannot carry on any mining operation. At a media briefing in Kumasi, the sector minister, Kweku Asomah-Treme, expressed hope the legal processes would be completed by end of January.
The 2 weeks ends on 27th. So on 27th, if no favorable answer is obtained or received from that particular company, then the steps goes on. It is true that this matter has gone before the Supreme Court, and it is pending.
The minister also disclosed the licenses of some mining firms have been revoked. Meanwhile, head of the EU delegation to Ghana, Dinah Akonsia, has reiterated the EU's commitment to help Ghana protect its forest reserves.
The Ghana National Food Buffer Stock Company, NAFCO, says it will make sure its warehouses and other storage facilities are fully operational to ensure food security in the country. This was made known during a validation tour of warehouses in the 3 regions of the north. Solomon Mensah has the details.
The Ghana National Food Buffer Stock Company, NAFCO, is under the Ministry of Food and Agriculture and is mandated to ensure the nation has readily available foods in times of need. NAFCO seeks to achieve the mandate by revamping its warehouses and pack houses. On a validation tour of the Upper East region to ascertain the status of its warehouses, CEO of the Ghana National Food Buffer Stock Company, Hanan Abdul Wahab, told TV3 his outfit is prepared to buy produce from local farmers.
The buffer stock company of yesterday is no more the buffer stock company of today. Day in, day out, the minister is helping us, arranging credit facilities for us to mop up all excess grain, because the program cannot be sustained without buying the excess grains from farmers.
At the Zwarugu warehouse, trucks were loading bags of fertilizer that currently occupy the warehouse. This is to allow for the warehouse to be fumigated.
Currently moving it out, we are going to fumigate the warehouse and mop up excess grains from the nearby communities through our license buying campaign.
He revealed that parts of the Zwarugu warehouse and others would be refurbished.
This is the portion of the Zwarugu warehouse in Bogatanga of the Upper East region. The Ghana National Food Buffer Stock says it will be rehabilitating this particular structure so that it can accommodate cereals and produce from farmers so that their produce do not go waste.
Infrastructure engineer Bloomfield Atipo of the Savannah Zone Agricultural Productivity Improvement Project, SAPIP, says about $1.5 million would be needed for such reconstruction.
It's about 1.5 million US dollars. But then whether the money will be sufficient or not will depend on what we find.
The Pualugu Pack House is a facility with inbuilt refrigerator for storing fruits and vegetables. The National Project Coordinator of SAPIP, Phyllis Daramani, explained reasons for siting the facility at that location.
Looking at the potential of Pualugu district, there's a lot of water here and a lot of people produce a lot of fruits and vegetables. So that actually made us to site this facility here so that can motivate people to produce more.
At the Busa South warehouse, representative of the district director, Michael Anoche, said NAFCO's move to make use of the warehouse will see growth in rice production in the area. The team also visited the facility at the premises of the Navrongo Fire Service Command, with NAFCO intends renovating to serve as a temporary warehouse.
Now, the second suspect in the murder of the former Upper East Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Adams Mahama, has been captured. Ghana security agencies, in collaboration with Interpol, arrested Asaki Alangidi in Côte d'Ivoire after more than a year's surveillance. This was revealed by Information Minister Kojo Opong Nkrumah in Accra. Here's a report by Zubeida Ismail.
Mr. Asapke was the second person believed to have been in the conspiracy with the first suspect, Mr. Gregory Afoko, in the murder of the deceased, Mr. Mahama, which incident occurred on the 20th of May, 2015. It will be recalled that on that day, Mr. Mahama was attacked in front of his home in Bogatanga with acid, leading to his death. Investigations disclosed that his death was caused by the two persons, that's Mr. Afoko and Mr. Alangde. Mr. Alangde, however, fled the Ghanaian jurisdiction in the days after the murder and has been on the run since. Ghana security agencies have been on a manhunt for him since then. Mr. Afoko was, however, apprehended by police and has been put on trial since. The case is being tried by Justice L.L. Mensah, Justice at the Court of Appeal, sitting as an additional High Court judge, and has been adjourned to February 2019 for lawyers to address the jury. Now, while this trial has been ongoing, consistent efforts were underway to apprehend the fugitive, Mr. Alangde, and he was arrested on Friday, 25th of January 2019, with the assistance of Interpol.
Well, a charge of assault will be leveled against 4 suspects who subjected 3 senior high school students to the ordeal of eating raw chicken at Akumadan. The police in Ashanti's region saying that that act of instant justice must not go unpunished. Kofi Edudonfe has been speaking to the Deputy Public Relations Officer in the Ashanti region, ASP Godwin Ayanyo.
How did the information get to you, Godwin?
A journalist sent a video to me asking whether we've gotten hold of that video footage of some young boys who were arrested for stealing that fowl and made to chew it raw. So quickly we investigated the source of that video footage, and it happened that it was coming from Akumadan. So the regional police commander tasked the district commander of Akumadan to initiate investigation into the alleged assault on these students who happen to be students of Akumadan Senior High School. 4 persons have been arrested and they are in custody assisting investigations.
And these include a community policing assistant?
Exactly, because when we watched the video, we realized that 2 of the students were in handcuffs. So we then knew that it could be either be a policeman involved or anybody else. So when we investigated, it turned out to be that the one who actually handcuffed them was CPA, that is community policing assistant. So he's also been picked, and the commander has instructed that they should be put before court immediately.
The community policing assistant, is there any special treatment that will be leveled against that person?
Yes, you know, he is coming from YEA, that is Youth Employment Agency. So the appropriate authority will be informed, and then the necessary action will be taken internally against him, whilst the criminal aspect is also taken against him.
What happens to the students themselves, because they also did something that is not lawful?
No, they are juveniles. They are children under 18 years who are in conflict with the law. So we have a way of handling such persons when they found themselves in the wrong side of the law. So we'll be looking at that aspect. But for now, it says the culprit that we picked, those who subjected them to that inhumane treatment, they are the people we are looking at now. This morning, the parents have been contacted and they've assured that they will bring them to the district police command for them to be interviewed or questioned. Then they will assist the police in whatever investigation that we've already initiated into this unfortunate video that we are watching.
How should we as public react when we see people going foul of the law?
You know, we need not to put the law into their own hands. It's like subjecting somebody to instant justice and all that. If even they are juveniles, they've committed an offense, they've gone to steal a fowl, you need not to put the law into your own hands or take the law into your own hands and start subjecting them to that inhuman treatment that we just saw in the video footage. So if you think you have a case to report or an offense has been committed, yours is to report to the police or any other institution that matters when it comes to some of these things.
Very disturbing.
Absolutely, I am
very
just,
disturbing.
you know, this is a level of trauma that they've been subjected to, and I'm happy about the fact that the police have been able to arrest, including a police community police assistant.
Absolutely.
You know, and he should know the law much better. Rather handcuffs these students and makes them chew this meat.
It's very worrying, and we'll certainly stay on it. And
Absolutely.
Be looking forward to the right, institutions.
It's good in the grips of the police.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Absolutely. Let's now turn to our MTN Vid reports this evening, as our concerned citizen journalist reports on a burst pipe that has been overflowing on a road at Medina Rawlins Circle in the Greater Accra region.
Volumes of water is going waste due to a pipe burst in the area for over 2 days now. I am pleading with the Ghana Water Company Limited and all authorities involved to come and address the issue. This is your concerned citizen reporting from Medina Rawlins Circle in the La Nkwantanan Municipal District Assembly.
It's worrying. Look, that place, the people who live there don't have water flowing through their taps throughout the week.
Moving out of the pipe
it comes through just once or twice every week.
That's
and so if you have such volumes of water going waste...
It's a big problem. It's a big problem.
Well, hello again. Welcome back into the business segment here on News 360. And 11.6 billion cedis of depositors' funds was saved through the banking sector reforms. The governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, who made this known at a news conference here in Accra, said over 1.5 million customers could have lost their deposits and investments if exercise had not been carried out.
We are quite clear that the interventions that were done with Consolidated Bank has eased some of the pressure for some of these other institutions because of the interconnectedness between the financial institutions. Because you had some of the banks that had, were exposed to savings and loans, microfinance institutions and finance houses. Now, by providing liquidity to Consolidated Bank, they've been able to pay up some of the depositors of savings and loans institutions. They've been able to pay some of the depositors of pension funds and other institutions.
The Monetary Policy Committee of the Bank of Ghana has meanwhile reduced its key lending rate to commercial banks in the country. The committee reduced the policy rate by 100 basis points from 17 to 16%. In March 2018, the Bank of Ghana reduced its rate by 200 basis points from 20% to 18%. Economist Courage Kingsley Marty said the latest reduction was not expected.
In the light of 2019 budget implementation, which is likely to be more expansionary than 2018, there is the need for the monetary authorities to be a bit more vigilant and cautious in their move towards policy easing. And so we felt that January 2019 would be too soon to start implementing policy rate cuts, because of the current risk framework that we are seeing. We think March, July, it would give a brighter or broader picture about the outlook. So to that extent, I think that January cut came as a surprise.
But banking consultant Nanutu Champon disagrees.
So I've always maintained that they have access to the books. So if the trend is that the tightening has eased, then it is good that it has come down. In management of the economy, it's a continuation, and therefore January, December, November, it's all the same. So if the trending is towards that, then it's good that it's been reduced.
The development is likely to influence the cost of credit in the country.
Clearly, that's the expectation of the private sector, that this reduction would influence cheaper credits advanced to them by the commercial banks. We'll wait to see how they respond to this latest development. But the Association of Tanker Drivers has called on the NPA, that's the National Petroleum Authority, to ensure strict adherence and compliance of the Memorandum of Understanding between the tanker owners and them, that's the drivers, on their conditions of service. The association regrets that 5 months since the Memorandum of Understanding was signed, some owners are yet to comply, making conditions of the drivers worse off.
The union of over 4,000 transporters of petrol, diesel and other petroleum products in September 2018 threatened suspension of operations, citing poor working conditions and salary disparities. News of the strike caused panic among fuel consumers who feared that it would result in fuel shortage.
Still, as I said, some of the transporters are not paying at all. Some are also paying, but not fully, as has been agreed in the MOU. We are looking patiently as law-abiding people in this country. We are waiting patiently. That is why I always look forward to MPA to come forward and then talk to the transporters to pay the drivers as they work.
The National Petroleum Authority met the drivers thereafter and agreed a memorandum of an understanding together with the owners.
We've looked at critically driver welfare, driver motivation, a few you are saying today, and then also how their journeys are being managed. Of course, if a driver is going to go on a road and he's tired, you know what it means to have a fatigued driver. Research has that sleeping drivers kill more than drunk drivers, and so for us, we seek to manage their fatigue very well. We are not making sure that they are always on the roads.
As efforts are underway for the owners to improve the conditions of these drivers, some of the owners have devised rewarding the efforts of the drivers as a means to leverage their conditions. Safety is a major concern in a downstream sector. For these drivers, commitment to strict compliance on standards in the industry is the charted path.
So for safety, it's good for everybody. Safety is not a matter of you telling somebody, do this, do this. Safety is for your own sake. I think most of my colleagues, they practice safety, they eat safety, and they enjoy safety. You can bear it in mind that, look, for some years now, you can't see tankers having accidents on the road because we train our drivers, we have safety meetings, every end of every month, and we have toolbox meetings as well.
The deserving drivers were rewarded with items such as electronics and cash.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Silver Star, Asad Nasser, has indicated in spite of the difficulties last year, as 2018, the management of auto dealership company is focused to ensure a more profitable and secured business in 2019. He was speaking in Accra at a New Year engagement with staff of the company.
The New Year engagement was to take stock of 2018 business performance and strategize for this year. CEO of Silver Star, Asad Nasir, assured the workers that management will do all it takes for a more profitable year.
We are super focused to make sure that this company does very well. We are already the leaders in the industry, but we've got to make some figures and some profits and make sure that we are around and we're able to survive these tough times.
Chairman of the local union, Jerry Baji, pledged the support of the union to ensure a work culture that promotes a return on investment.
We want the union and management to work together so that we can collectively help the company to grow. It is our responsibility as a union to set our visions for a better workplace.
CEO of Silver Star assured of an open door policy and encouraged employees to always put the customer first.
Unfortunately, I don't get to meet customers as much as you do. You are the forefront of delivery of customer service. Make sure you look after our customers, because that's the only thing that will guarantee what our union is asking for.
Long service awards were presented to workers from various departments. Francis Danso is the longest serving employee, having spent 35 years.
Wake up early in the morning, 5 o'clock, come to work every blessed day, not even late, no absent, working throughout the whole year. I enjoy it.
Silver Star Auto Limited was incorporated as a business entity in December 11, 1996 and started business with Mercedes-Benz as the maiden franchised brand. The auto dealership now represents Suzuki and SsangYong vehicles, Energizer automotive batteries, power oil, and Mutal engine care oils and lubricants.
Well, let's say in the automobile industry, because Renault, a French global automobile giant, has revealed its intention to establish a long-term project in Ghana that will enable the company develop products to meet needs of customers both in Ghana and across the sub-region. So some senior executives of the multinational automobile manufacturer made the revelation when they called on President Kufuor at Jubilee House here in Accra.
The group, led by its senior vice president and chairman of the group, Renault, in charge of Africa, Middle East and India, Fabrice Cambolive, says the automobile giant wants to launch a long-term investment in Ghana to meet the needs of its customers across the sub-region.
To see if our capacity to bring those products in this country are matching with your policy. And if it's the case, we'll be delighted to do that. Donc thanks a lot once again for your welcome. Thanks a lot for the number of information we are getting. I would like to say that in my stay, I recognize a lot of values you mentioned, and that's very important for us. And hope we will be able to concretize this in a really hard project, but not a short-term project, but a project for the next years, a long-term project.
President Akufo-Addo, who was excited about the announcement, reiterated government's efforts at creating an enabling environment for businesses to thrive.
Where we are in West Africa is a matter of some advantage to us. We're right in the middle of the region, and are the ones who stride both the Anglophone and the Anglophone worlds of West Africa, right in the middle of it. We're the second largest economy in West Africa. So there are lots and lots of reasons why Ghana would be a well-positioned place for you. We're looking upon ourselves as the gateway to West Africa, to a market of some 350 million people at the moment, which is scheduled to go up to 500 million by what, 2030? So that's where we're positioning ourselves.
The French automobile manufacturer produces a range of cars and vans and was in 2016 the 9th biggest automaker in the world by production volume.
This is good news. Nissan, Volkswagen, this great. But that's more business news on 3news.com here on 360. Natalie standing by with some more after this quick break. To stay.
All right, good evening. It's now time for some entertainment and lifestyle news with me, Nana Kwejuadona. Coming up in the stories tonight, we're looking at celebrations. It was the best of local gospel music when contestants on celebrations treated the audience to lovely tunes from Yao Sapong and the Asomafo, Cindy Thompson and SP Kofi Sapong. The chord was awarded the best performer for the night, while AB Crew was evicted.
It was another exciting spirit-filled night. As usual, impressive showmanship was showcased by contesting groups. The guest artist was urban gospel singer Niso.
One of the things that I've learned in my from my mentor days till through to Project Fame to doing music professionally till now is that there's something called knowing your audience. So you need to know and understand your audience, the kind of energy they carry, and do accordingly. You can't carry a hyper energy and you come there doing something so slow, dull and all of that. You need to join in and all of that. Understand your vibe, that you and the audience will get together to put up something beautiful.
The 7th week saw contesting groups exhibit highly refined level of local praises and worship gospel songs. The chord from the Achimota SDA Church won Best Performer for the night, while the Royalty took the award for the Best Costume. The a cappella group attributed their success to hard work.
Wonderful evening, and then we so much enjoyed what we did. It hasn't been easy though, because rehearsals, we are not all from the same place. We live very, very far apart. But the Lord has been good, and we were able to come together, do much more rehearsals. This performance today wasn't by ourselves, but by the grace of God and our PRO, and making sure that we do what is necessary and is expected of us to do to win this amazing award today.
After a hard-fought battle, it was the end of the road for the AB Crew.
And then AB Crew is going.
ETW is staying. AB Crew is going home.
The competition keeps getting keener, and you can only keep your favorite in by voting for them. Celebrations, heaven must hear.
I'd like to say congratulations to the courts, and also all the best to AB Crew for, the eviction. But anyways, they should move on. Moving on to the next story. The Black Panther took home the most coveted award of the 25th edition of the annual Screen Actors Guild Awards in Hollywood last night. The film's cast, including Gadrick Boseman, Danai Gurira, Michael B. Jordan, Lupita Nyong'o, Angela Bassett, and Winston Duke, erupted with joy when the big moment came. The aforementioned stars were all on stage to accept the award. The win puts Black Panther squarely in contention for Best Picture at the Academy Awards, where it's nominated for 7 honors, including Best Picture. Actors make up the largest percentage of the Academy, so their preferences can have an especially large impact on the Oscar race. All right, so that's about it for entertainment news. And Alfred is jumping and shouting Black Panther.
Yeah.
And that's about it, right?
Wakanda. You know, I think last week we read a story about some stereotype here and there
about the movie.
Absolutely, but
it deserves the win.
Definitely, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So we're waiting for the big one. That's coming the next week or two. Yeah, but I want to say thank you.